Met many actors during this career, as you can imagine, and what always makes me laugh is that it's always about the acting, the job, darling. It's not about the money, no, not about the cachet, all that sort of stuff. So it comes as no surprise as this leading actor, Dominic West, last seen, of course, playing His Majesty the King, King Charles, in the final series of The Crown. Well, looks like he's now being caught out in his latest role. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time out today to join me. Nice to have your company. You're right today. Yes, a bit of a blustery moment over here in London town. As I've said, it's fascinating when you meet actors and people like that because they always say, oh no, I don't do it for the money, it's for the passion, darling, it's all of that sort of stuff. And then you find out, of course, that they've all starred in ads. Even the wonderful Dame Judi Dench starred in ads for a frozen fish finger company. Yes, but of course she said she did it because she wanted to make sure she had some money to buy a house. They always have an excuse, you see. You and I would be blasted for doing something so lowly. But it comes as no surprise, of course, that the man who would be king, literally Dominic West in The Crown, well, he signed on to play a rather disgruntled bank manager for a leading nationwide bank ad on TV over here in the United Kingdom. And you see, the big thing was that he was arrogant, he wasn't going to be putting up with bank closures, all of that sort of stuff. He was so sure of himself. Now, as I said, I've met Dominic on a couple of occasions now, and he's very affable, a little bit lovey-dum, but very affable in himself. He was starring in a play in the West End last time I bumped into him, and tickets, shall we say, were less than flourishing, but that didn't bother him. He said once the people came to see the play, they'd understand exactly and it would take off. Yes. Anyway, back to the TV ad. What's interesting here is that the tagline was that nationwide the people behind this said bank allegedly have now been, well, shall we say, told off because it was lies what they were putting out in the TV ad. They claim that they weren't shutting branches when in effect they'd shut 20% over the last year. Of course, competitors complained, and then that really created an uproar. This didn't go down particularly well, as one can imagine, for Dominic West because he picked up a hefty fee, apparently in the region of over 500,000, allegedly. And what was interesting here is that now obviously Dominic doesn't want to be, shall we say, tarnished, associated with such negative publicity, as one can imagine. So now they've got to put out an apology. It's going to be interesting, though, whether they rehire Dominic to either revoice or redo the scenes if they want to continue this particular ad. With banks closing all up and down the country and no doubt around the world, this is terrible PR for the nationwide group. But more importantly, for an actor of his standing, Mr. West, he won't want to be associated with something like this. But of course, Dominic, it's always all about the acting. The other side of the coin is now nationwide are saying, but they won't be closing any more branches until at least 2028. But truly, who can believe them now after such a fragrant lie? As ever, I'd love to know your thoughts about this particular fun story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.